All right, B'siyata Dishmaya, we are continuing with Neshama Neshima, the Jewish breathwork series, and we are up to a chapter called Moshel Berucho, he who rules over his spirit, rules over his emotions. And we're going to be learning what is the source for Gvura, for might, and patience, Savlanut. ארבעת הכוחות העיקריים הנמצאים בנפש האדם מוגדרים במשנה במסכת אבות. The four different main powers that are found inside the nefesh, the soul of a person, are described in the Mishnah in Pirkei Avot, in the Ethics of Our Fathers. It says, Chacham, Gibor, Ashir, Umechubad. They are a wise person, Gibor, a strong person, a Ashir, wealthy person, and a Mechubad, an honorable person. These are the four main things that push man and that make man who they are. Their wealth, their strength, their knowledge, and their honor. And you can only reach prophecy by way of having all four together. HaGibor shebo nesocheach ata. The Gibor is what we're going to be talking about now. We're going to be talking about the side of might inside of us, the side of power. It's a person who knows how to get up with quickness to do what he has to do. Or the opposite, passive might, passive strength, where sometimes you're pushed to do something and you hold back with all of your might to not do it. And to be able to say no. And when it comes to that, then there's no room for hesitations. The mighty person knows, I can't do this thing. He puts up all of the walls and he puts the fight up, and he doesn't budge for a millimeter. In the majority of the cases, the Gibor, the powerful person, has dominance. He's on the upper side. He overcomes everything that's in his midst. But there's one problem with this side of power, the side of might that's inside of us, and that is that it's very, very close to the midah of kas, of anger, the trait of anger. And so to say, it's like this neighbor, this partner that's known to go together with might, right? So a person has the side of strength inside of their nefesh, but very close to that strength, that inner strength, is the border, or is the neighboring trait, attribute, which is kas, which is anger. Therefore, נותנת המשנה עצה טובה כדי להינצל מן הכעס. שבגבורה, the Mishnah gives us an amazing piece of advice to be saved from this anger that could be found inside Gvura, and to be saved from all of the different types of bloodshed that could come from it. In the Pasuk, it says, the Pasuk, the verse that symbolizes what is a mighty person, Chazal teach us and they say, Ezu HaGibor, who is the mighty one? HaKovesh et Yisro, he who conquers his inclinations. Shneimar Tov erech hapayim migibor moshel berucho miloked ir. It's better a person with patience, erech apayim, which we're going to learn about why this word erech apayim is the word for patience very soon. Erech apayim, a person with patience, is better than a gibor, than a mighty person. Umoshel berucho miloked ir, and a person who conquers his emotions more than a person who can put a siege on a whole entire city. So what is the advice that was given here in order to take the full strength out of what's called gvura, out of might? Erech apayim. Erech apayim in Hebrew means patience. It's how the Torah uses the word for patience, pretty much for the most part, is erech apayim. What does erech apayim actually mean though? Erech means aroch, long, and apayim means your nose. Af is your nose. So a long nose is the biblical way to say patience. Harachat Neshima על ידי פעולת האף שמעריך ומקצר מכפי שהורגל. Lengthening your breath, the nose represents breath, lengthening your breath by way of the actions of the nose that take longer inhales and exhales than usual. Umoshel berucho, he who rules over his spirit, sholet b'marachet haneshima shelo. What does that mean? To rule over your ruach, it means to rule over your respiratory system. People that get used to making a practice of breathing every single day, not all day, but at least setting time aside to practice breathing with consciousness, will know and testify that there's nothing like a nice long breath at a time of need in order to calm down nearly immediately. Right? A person who knows the power of breath, when they get some stress come up and arise in them, they're able to go into breathing exercises and nearly immediately they can calm down. In order to come to this reflex where you're able to feel stress and immediately calm yourself down by way of breath, and to not get startled and tripped up by the panic, to not get burnt by way of the anger inside of you, you have to have the ability of consistency. How do we do this? A person who gets used to breathing, you have to practice breathing. The more you practice breathing with consciousness, the more you will acquire this and bring this tool into your toolkit, and you'll be able to make it part of your nature. That this is what you just do naturally. And when an event in your life arouses where there's a need for gvura, there's a need for might, miyad mitorer reflex hanikna ve'apo mitarech. As soon as you are needed in life to show might, meaning either to push forward to do something without being stopped, or to stop yourself from doing something without being stopped, without letting loose, right, without falling into anger, immediately this reflex that you've acquired by way of your practicing breathing will kick in, and your breathing will lengthen, your nose will lengthen its breaths, which is what's called patience, right? You ma'arich afa. וממילא מתארך גם הזמן שבו יוצא מהאוויר ממנו ושבו הוא נכנס. Not only that naturally the outcome of that is that the amount of time it takes for air to come into your nostrils and out will be lengthened. עד שבכוח הארכת הזמן הזו עוברים מעצמם הדברים הבלתי רצויים ונעלמים כלא היו. With that time, right, as you start to breathe in your need for gvura, the time of need for gvura, you start to breathe, this reflex kicks in. Now that you're breathing with length, it takes longer time, and with that time, all of the things that were coming up inside of you and bothering you are going to start to disappear as if they weren't there. This is the definition of this expression from the Torah, erech apayim. שבדרך אגב, כפי מעשינו למטה בכיוון זה, that by way of our actions down here in this world, משפיעים אנו על העליונים, we affect the supernal worlds, שגם מלמעלה מערכים אף כלפינו, that also from above they start to lengthen the nose, they start to have mercy and start to have patience with us. Until you get saved from the test that was aroused. You find yourself in a time of danger where you need to fight, you need to either push forward or hold back with all of your might, and you're fighting as hard as you can. You also need mercy from above. You also need patience from up above. And that comes down by way of you breathing better down here. And then you get saved from the test. And in a lot of times, you're going to get saved from a very uncomfortable situation that could arouse from what would have happened if you didn't kick in the patience. One of the tests, the most simple tests that's known throughout the world, that one of these tests that's known throughout the world that allows us to see the truth of what we're saying is this. Right? People will say, "Ani koes, ki ze ata yargiz oti meod." Right? I'm upset, I'm angry because right now that person really ticked me off. He really pushed my buttons. Then it's obvious that my emotions are going to get all out of it, and that my heart is going crazy in my midst. It's my heart that's getting upset. It's my heart that got affected. It's my heart that felt. So we're not going to take care of it straight on. We're not going to face it face to face. How can you going to start to tell your heart off, and how are you going to get angry at your heart? Rather, just take a few true deep breaths. That's it. How amazing is it, the fact that without telling your heart to do anything, without giving your heart any instructions, just by way of breathing, ruach chaim, akirira, some breeze, giving your heart a little breeze, straight away, automatically, it changed its pulse, it's changed how quickly it's pumping, and this storm that was inside the heart, until it really does actually calm down. And then, what do you care about the laundry pin that was taken from you when the person knew or they didn't know? Katnut shebekatnut, it's the smallest thing, it's so insignificant. How could I get angry at something so small? B'derech Hashem, v'beruch Hashem, shenitzalti mimena. Thank God I was saved from it. Why would I get angry at such an insignificant thing? Okay, it came to mess me over. I got upset. The feeling came up inside of me. But by way of me practicing my breathing every day, my breathing has become a part of me. And now when I don't want to throw my toys out the trolley, meaning I'm being asked to apply the gvura that's inside of me, the mighty one that's inside of me, to not throw the toys out the trolley, now I start to breathe. And by way of me breathing, I arouse mercy from above and patience from above, and that comes down on me. And now I got saved from such nonsense just by a little bit of breathing. And this is also the same rule for anything else in the world that is coming to seduce us, or to take our mind off of consciousness and bring it into the nonsense of this world. All of the different stresses and anxieties that can also come over us, enam ela b'sha'tam, for the most part, they're just a moment, they're just a little bit, it's a wave that comes over us and it's going to pass. This rage of craziness is going to pass, and the person is going to calm down anyway. How fortunate is a person who has ruach inside of him, who has breath inside of him, who has air, who has spirit inside of him, and knew just to wait a little bit. He conquered all of the wars, defeated all the wars. He looks back and he sees it was just an illusion. It wasn't even real. How fortunate is this person's lot. That he didn't sell his firstborn rights for a hot soup, for some lentils, like Esav did, right? Esav wasn't willing to wait a little bit just to come in from the hunt and sit down and breathe a little bit, just relax, and just make yourself some food. No, there's a ready pot. Yaakov with his wisdom says, this person can't rule over his emotions. He's losing it. I can take everything right now from him. Just give him a little bit of food, and I can get all of the sparks. Don't become Esav. Don't let everything fall out of you. Don't let your sparks fleet you. Just breathe. So we got a very good tip out of this. How to prevent World War III. Let's take all of these demagogues, all of these tyrants, and all of these terrorists, and let's put them inside a jail. Let's give them, right, actual forced classes in breath work, 30 minutes a day, and when they finally make rehab from their crazy mentality of trying to dominate and rule over the whole entire world, they'll straight away be able to come out. And if they won't, if they're not ready yet, we'll wait for them for a few more years. When they get released, for sure, they won't want to fight with people that are innocent. And hopefully for them, maybe they'll start a brand new light filled with life. Right? Rav Bezinson is a very, very funny rabbi. He's saying, look how powerful. You want to be a gibor, you want to be a mighty person, you want to be a tyrant, you want to be the head of the Islamic Republic? Let's put you in jail for a little bit, give you breath work every single day. Let's teach you how to be a real gibor, how to rule over the inclinations that arouse inside of you. And let's see how you feel. You ready to come back and be a member of society and not destroy the whole entire world? Welcome back. You need a few more years? We'll keep you in there. Now he brings us to another point. that's put here inside of this chapter, and we'll see why. Is it so hard to be a Jew? It's known, there's a famous saying in the Jewish world, it's hard to be a Jew. Why is it so hard? And to be a goy is easier? Rav Elchanan Wasserman, Hashem Yikum Damo, may Hashem avenge his death, he said, no, it's harder. You should ask, you should just say, it's kashe lechyot, it's hard to live, and that's it. But the question comes back, why is it so hard? Either way, why is it so hard to live? Rav Nachman of Breslov says, in Likutei Tinyana, in the second part of Likutei Moran, in the 86th teaching, it says there, כי כל דבר קשה לא קורה לאיש אלא למי שקצר רוחו כמו שכתוב. To anybody who goes through something hard, though the hardship only happened, he only sees the situation as a hardship because of kotzer ruach, because of a lack of breath. Like it's written, the Jews couldn't hear the words of Moshe, that Moshe was telling them, you're going to be redeemed, you're going to be taken out of Egypt and brought to new heights. They couldn't listen to him because of kotzer ruach, a lack of breath, because of Avodat Hashem, because of hard work. So the main reason they couldn't listen is because kotzer ruach, it's the first thing mentioned. Why were they put into Avodah Kasha? Why was it that they were slaves? Because they had shortened breath. And why was their breath so short? Why were they breathless? Because of a lack of emunah. Having emunah is what helps to lengthen the nose of a person, meaning to bring more patience, and to cause more tranquility inside of a person. So you won't need to go through hardships. Everything goes to the greatness of a person's, to the size of a person's of their emunah. And when Reb Nachman said this Torah, Rabbi Natan, his main student, got weak in his mind. He said to himself, I thought I had emunah. It should have been easier for me. Reb Nachman says to Rabbi Natan, his main student, Ein lecha emunah ba'atzmecha. You don't have emunah in yourself. First things first, a person who believes in himself, believes in the secret abilities and powers that are hidden inside his subconscious. And then he sees with his eyes that this test, this hardship is not so big, it's not beyond what he's able to tolerate. He knows he has deep inside of him immense powers that will push him through anything. And the big chidush here is, the big novel idea here is, the more that you believe in yourself, the easier it's going to be for yourself. It's all in relativity, right? By way of you lengthening your breath, the aspect of erich hapayim, so too you'll be able to develop a strong emunah, more stronger emunah in yourself. And then yivada lecha chemlat Adonai, chemlat Hashem alecha, v'lo titzarech la'avodot kashot. And then the joy and the love that Hashem has for you will be revealed to you, and you won't need to do hard work. You won't need to be a slave. You'll be the ben, you'll be the son in the palace. You won't have to escape and run away from suffering. It's going to run away from you alone. For example, Rav Charon wrote in his book Zimrat Haaretz, he writes like this: Achgam sham be'eretz HaKodesh, there too in the holy land of Israel, tzrichim lizaher biyoter litchazek v'lehamin b'kedushat Eretz Yisrael, shehi b'chinat emunah. There too in the land of Israel, you have to strengthen your emunah. You have to believe in the sanctity of the land of Israel, which is the aspect of emunah, and to believe in yourself that even though it appears that you are on the lowest level and you don't feel inside of yourself any extra sanctity by way of you settling the land of Israel, even though that's the case, you have to believe with complete emunah that it's set upon you as well, that you are illuminated and you are protected and you have the sanctity of the land of Israel on you, until you'll be able with ease to serve Hashem in truth. And this is what the rabbis say. Kol adar be'eretz Yisrael sharui belo avon. Whoever lives in the land of Israel, it's as if he has no sins. According to the simple understanding, the intention is la'avonotav shenimchakim. Your sins get erased by you living in the land of Israel. Aval nitan gam leramez al avonot hadimyonim. You can also say the imaginative, the sins that don't really exist, that we tell ourselves of. Shemamsi la'atzmo mi she'en lo emunah be'atzmo. A person who doesn't have emunah in himself finds all of these blemishes and all of these sins inside of them that they don't really exist. They're not really sins. They're not really blemishes. Ve'kan gam ele nimchakim lo. And here, those two are also erased. And a person can see how good they are, and how precious they are, and how much they have, and how much is really inside of them, how much of a gibor they are, how much of a mighty person they are, and they're moshel berucha, they can rule over their emotions and rule over what's going inside by way of their breath. People keep asking, and when are we going to get techniques? When are we going to get techniques? We breathe all day long without techniques. You just have to be conscious of it. You want a technique? Set aside time every single day, a reminder on your phone, that you put 7 minutes to breathing with consciousness, to breathe and to take the light and to take the breath into new places, to release stresses, to retell yourself stories while you're breathing. Start over. Rule over everything that's going inside your world, your inner world. And that is the land of Israel. And you have to believe that you have the power and you have the sanctity of the land of Israel, and you can have that no matter where you are in the world. Obviously, there's nothing can be said, it's much stronger here. But no matter where you are in the world, you can pull this land of Israel onto you by way of taking a nice deep breath, waiting for the situation to pass before reacting. Avodat Hashem, may we all be blessed to do this.